Great. We'll go ahead and call this meeting for the off-riding road advisory to order on Tuesday, July 29th at 12:05 p.m. I'm Kim Streeter. I'm the chair. Committee members that we have in the room are Ron Davis, Jim Richardson, Larry Zervos. Past planning staff that we have here in the room are Jackson Fox and Olivia Lunsford. And then we also have some guests in the room. We have Yvette Hall and
Bob Christesh, city engineer.
Okay, thank you. And Terry Clearwood. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming, guys. We appreciate your support. So we'll go ahead and move on from item number 2 to item number 3, which is our non-motorized project nomination and prioritizations. There's a lot of information in your packet here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over the first 2 pages of the packet. The rest of the packet is really informational to refresh your memories on what the projects are that we're going to discuss here today, what the scope of those are, determine IR, where they're located in the community. But first and foremost, this second page of the packet right behind the agenda is the official recommendation that came out of the subcommittee for Fast Improvement Program. And just as a reminder, the Fast Improvement Program is our preventative maintenance program. These are projects that are typically mill and pave of roadways, mill and pave of asphalt paths, sidewalk repairs, things of that nature. So they're not large, complicated projects that require survey or moving utilities or anything of that nature. And we've had 2 subcommittee meetings with that group, and this is an opportunity for all of our local governments and various departments to come together to nominate their priorities to the program for a bundle of construction projects each summer. So typically at these meetings, we have representation from the 2 cities and various departments of the borough, including the Parks and Rec Department and Rural Services Department. Sometimes the school district joins us as well. And then the University of Alaska Fairbanks and our state DOT representatives. So in working through those last couple meetings, this is their official recommendation here up on the screen, which will go through our technical committee and policy board for approval in August, subject to adjustment. The technical committee and policy board may adjust this list. But you can see here on the projects, this is broken out by each of the local governments, so each of the different agencies. And then we have a check mark next to there, whether it's a roadway project or if it's a sidewalk and path project. And by policy, we strive to, with the bundle of projects and funding allocated, try to spend 80% on roadway projects and 20% on path and sidewalk projects. And then John DeTardis, the project manager at DOT, puts together estimates for each of these nominations, which is shown there in the 2 right columns. And basically, the subcommittee came up with a bundle of projects for 2026, and then things that didn't make that cut are being pushed out for consideration in 2027 to 2028. So when you look at this 2026 column, this is what the proposal is, but it'll again go through the technical committee and policy board in August here. With regard to non-motorized projects for the city of Fairbanks, we're still a little bit on the fence on this one on the Gaffney Road sidewalk. It may not be ready to be included in next summer's construction, but could be out in 27 or 28. So right now there is no non-motorized project for the city of Fairbanks on this list for next summer. But for the city of North Pole, they do have 4 non-motorized projects. First and foremost is 8th Avenue path resurfacing, and this was a priority of this committee, so that made it on the list and is in 2026 for the proposal. And then at the Old Richardson Highway in 5th Avenue, the city is interested in putting in a crosswalk at that location, so that's a very simple project. There's also a couple path projects there in Blanket Boulevard and Solom's Way. Those are pushed out to 27 or 28. But we do have those two non-motorized projects for City North Pole. And then for the Fairbanks North Star Borough, their Parks and Rec Department and Rural Services Department had a variety of nominations. Two were included in this proposal for Parks and Rec. One is paving the access road, which is currently gravel, to the Birchville Rec Area parking lot. And then, out at Tanana Lakes Recreation Area, paving a short length of West Lake Lane. This is if you enter the recreation area from the new Lathrop Street extension. This is that segment of road that's kind of near the first parking lot near the swim beach and heading south to another part of the park there. But it is since it's in the recreation area in this segment of road between a couple different parking lots and a lot of folks that walk up and down that roadway. Subcommittee thought this was more appropriately as considered as a non-motorized project. And then UAF, they would like to pave the Taku parking lot paths, which are currently gravel along. I don't know if that's considered Farmers Loop or still University Avenue. I think it's maybe considered University Avenue along that. So the east side of campus there. And then for DOT, these are two projects that were priorities for this committee is some type of barrier at the Scarland Trail access off the Lane Road so that snow doesn't get plowed into that spot and this open access all winter. And then adding a shoulder to Old Airport Way. This would be near the West Fred Meyer, the segment of Old Airport Way that has a couple of hotels on it, has the Alaska Bowl Company that receives a lot of pedestrian use. So a few of these committees' priorities made it on the list by the sponsor agency, but it really is up to that sponsor agency to officially nominate these projects to us in these meetings because they're committing to the match and maintenance of these projects. Now let's go to the second page. And I'll stop talking after this page so we can open up discussion and actually have a work session and some food. The second page here is the list of non-motorized project priorities that came out of this committee in 2022. So this is a couple of years old, but if you recall, we had a pretty intensive process of you all coming up with ideas for non-motorized projects, and then we developed scoring criteria to apply to those. And then it came out with a score, as you can see there, and they were put in that priority order on this list. This wasn't necessarily a scoring process for direct funding, but it was a scoring process to identify what this committee's priorities were. And as you look in this list, you'll see a lot of projects that are crossed out there as that strike through text. So those are projects that have been, since we scored these in the last 3 years, those have been constructed. So a number of your committee priorities have actually, hit the dirt and been built. The ones in green there highlighted are pending, at least the top two ones there pending for Geist Road. There is a Geist Road corridor study that will be starting up this fall, winter. And I think we need to wait to see what the recommendations out of that study, what comes out of that study to see if these particular project ideas that you all were interested in are good and valid, from an engineering and traffic perspective. But everything else there in yellow is what I would say is still considered a need by this committee. And I'm glad Yvette has joined us as well as Bob, because a number of these projects here in yellow are actually in the works with design starts coming, and that will end up leading to construction through a variety of different funding sources and programs like the Northern Region ADA Improvement Program and our statewide CMAQ program. So I'm going to try to point these out briefly, and then Yvette can correct me. So looking at this list here, the Stees Highway path is one that I know Yvette is trying to get into the works.
I have a quick update.
Yes.
The project started like
Oh, good.
2
Okay.
or 3 working days ago. So yeah, it's
Fantastic.
finally took a year.
Yes, no, absolutely. But that's exciting. Yeah, exciting news, I think, for this committee. So that's a resurfacing of the path along the Stees Highway. between, Johansson and Gars? Not, no, Johansson and College.
Not Johansson. We're gonna exclude the portion that will be covered by the Johansson overpass.
Yes,
So just south of that to College, I think.
Okay.
Maybe to Airport Way.
So about 40 feet.
I think it's actually between Airport Way and, or Trainer Gate to Airport Way.
Okay.
Like even near where we are
It's
proposing the
between
parking
College
lot.
and-
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's like a good chunk.
So we have that project. Maybe there weren't as many on this list than I was thinking of. But like the Farmers Loop extension path, that's likely to be addressed with the Steez Joe interchange project in the future.
We did, a lot of work on that this summer too, this year work.
Yeah, I think you had told me that. So in the Farmers Loop extension path, you guys did do some spot repairs out there? Okay, yeah, wonderful. And then I know the Fifth Avenue ADA improvements out in North Pole. This is a project that may end up in our regular tip. Still has high interest from both the city of North Pole as well as the Borough Parks and Rec Department. And I believe it's our next project in line to receive funding on the non-motorized project nomination. So that one should be taken care of here soon. I might be missing something here, but there are a couple of these that are in the works. So I guess today, I think the hope was is we kind of have a more informal conversation, a work session. Discuss any of these projects here in yellow that you would like. And then bring up any new ideas that may not be on this list, since we haven't really revisited this in a couple of years, but. I would certainly appreciate hearing from the committee on this list of yellow, the yellow highlighted portion there. Which ones jump out to you all as something that we should try to carry the torch forward to take care of in, say, 27 or 28, or, for one of our funding programs.
So why does the policy board get rid of the college road improvement? The second, safety and access improvements.
Well, very clear here, but I think that one is a still somewhat politically sensitive. That was the project to convert College Road from 4 lanes to 3 lanes with a 2-way left turn lane in the middle there. So it's something, it was an idea that didn't move forward back in 2014, I believe it was. So, and it's been brought back up, but there still is strong opinions on both sides on that project. In talking with DOT traffic and safety, they're still so DOT, who owns the facility, is very supportive of that conversion. But that is a policy board decision. So I would hope it would be reconsidered in the future, but for right now, it's off the table.
Okay.
Bob, did you want to, I'm opening it up now.
Sure.
Anybody that would like to speak or provide an opinion.
Question on priority 18, South Cushman Street crossing improvements. Is that in the packet here? Is it like a?
Yeah,
I
sorry,
should be.
forgot.
Number 24.
Over 24.
24? Right here.
So it says, yeah, pedestrian crossing improvements in Van Horn Road and the Mitchell Expressway.
What's the nature of the improvement, Bernie?
I honestly don't recall. I mean, I know there's very long crossing distances there.
Was it a geometry change or just a signalization, or we're not sure at this point? It's somewhere. Descriptions.
We had this discussion, we would have had this discussion in 2022, so it's a few years ago, and I don't remember the details. There's a figure here, but.
Yeah, cause when I saw South Cushman, Circle K doing that development at 23rd there.
Yep.
And, coming up with a traffic control plan or pedestrian traffic control plan is really pretty difficult, because there's really no safe way to cross Cushman. There's very few places to cross it. So when we were going over the traffic control plan, where are we gonna direct the pedestrians to? And they have to walk blocks in any direction to get across Cushman safely. So, I just wanted to see where this was now. I see, so,
I think the thought here was also like Channel Lakes and all of like access, preventing access from
Yeah.
transit users as well.
The new entrance to Alex wasn't built at this time.
Yeah.
So. It may still be a need or may not be a need. I mean, it's,
Right.
it's also, this committee can say, well, let's just take this one off the list.
Well, I don't think there's a need. I think that should be incorporated in that path, that Cushman path, because there's no sidewalks. There's only a sidewalk on the west side from 28th to 30th, and then it stops. And then there's about 30 feet of sidewalk down at Cushman and Van Horn. So when you build that path, then for sure you would need some, but right now, I think there's higher priority stuff on that. Because I don't know what you would do to improve it there. Those pies are really tight at 30th. And they all have ADA access built into them.
What's this highway, the portion we are looking at under the fast ADA is trainer day to college, but I'm thinking about expanding the project limits and including also from the cemetery to Airport Way. That path is,
Okay. All right, we can notes here.
Would like to see that realigned a little bit right by that cemetery, so the path actually goes straight. Instead of doing that jog over onto that Clay Street, is that right?
it kind of, yeah, it's kind of,
You wanna
portion
zoom in
of it
there?
is not
Further
dedicated.
south. You gotta keep going down past the river. Yep,
Yeah.
right in there.
Right there.
Cause another idea was the Clay Street
Yeah, that,
connector.
Oh, yeah. Remember that conversation?
Is that on
I
here
believe-
or no?
Cause there was gonna be an intersection there at one time, or there used to be.
Used to be an up ramp, yeah. Which has been closed.
yeah,
That's the number 20 is to do that one.
I think so.
Yeah, it should be in our, number 3 in the,
Oh, I'm looking
Those
at that.
numbers don't correspond. Okay, got it.
it is actually like the 3rd project slide.
So under the fast ADA improvements, I can only like improve existing facilities, I can't build new ones.
Yeah, this would be building a new one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was actually 3 slides past number 24, so I just.
Oh, there you go.
I got,
There.
yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Little red line. Cool.
I guess just like from the BPAC's perspective, or RAC, I guess. Is there anything from our conversation at the last meeting that folks are like remembering? If they wanted to maybe talk about again? We went through a lot of information at that meeting.
I would like, do we have if, I don't know if you are drafting anything yet, but further in the packet of these slides are the 3 nominations that I would like to start. They have to be a standalone projects because then they don't fall under the fast ADA improvements scope. One would be improving the lane path. But the high priority is the Sheep Creek extension shared use path. Because I would like that to be constructed at the same time as the Park Sheep Creek signal. It would just make a better embankment and everything. And so, yeah, I would like to submit for project start on that on October 1st. So as soon as fiscal year is done. And then that is the Gatney road parking lot. But based on discussion with Ron, the Belaine path would be really benefit from raising it, so it's not flooded for portions of the year, and then it requires more maintenance.
And you discussed these three projects at the last meeting. I believe, yeah, okay. And the committee was supportive of those three projects? I assume, sorry, I was absent at the last meeting.
Yeah, they were, I definitely think that there was a sense of like. We need to think about all of this, so
Mhm.
now we're here. Cause none of those projects are currently on this list, right, so need to add them, rearrange, etc.
So another way to approach this as well is just to hit each one of the yellow projects and just kind of work through them one by one and see if there's comments from the committee.
I can open up a Word document.
So, and I guess we'll start with the College Road pedestrian crossings. So that new crosswalk has been installed at the farmer's market, rectangular wrap flashing beacon. There was the idea of putting in a similar crossing at Creamer's Field. But now that that crossing in is in that farmer's market, I don't know if the committee has comments, if you try to walk across the street at that location, have any feedback? Do you think it's still a need for Creamer's Field as well?
How is that more, I mean, I've driven through there, but I can't remember any crossing.
And it's there, we just noticed it the other day.
I've used it a couple times, it works pretty well.
It's just a crosswalk, is there?
Yeah,
It's an R.
you press the button and it
Oh,
starts
oh,
flashing.
whatever it's called.
Yellow flashing, not a red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be slide number 2.
Was there any counts done at that crossing,
Yeah.
pedestrian counts?
There were, I actually just looked at that data yesterday, I can only find, one volunteer had counted at that space, and it was on like a Tuesday before the farmer's market started, so. It's definitely not ideal for counting, but I actually just got an update from Nathan and Steven, because I remember us being told that there would be like
The camera.
camera installed for counting, and he said that he asked Scott Buckeroff last week about the counts at this location, and he said seems like a Saturday 9 to 4 after the fair with decent weather would be the best time to get some numbers, so we'd be looking at mid-August probably. So it doesn't sound like they have a camera there in perpetuity, which
And that's for the Creamer's Field crossing.
that's for the farmer's market, just to get an understanding, I guess, if people are using it. But we don't have counts at Catherine Street, which is the one along College.
Is that crossing, is that from the parking lot across the street? Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so,
Yeah.
but for the Creamer's Field crossing, I think it would be very beneficial to get some counts there to see if there is any need for
Isn't there a crossing, there's a crossing at Craner's now, isn't there? Right at
There's one at Danby,
Danby.
fairly close to Cranley Field.
Right.
At the intersection, yeah.
So who would be crossing from somewhere else?
And that's a real crossing though.
Catherine has like all of those.
Yeah, it's an intersection crossing.
Sure,
Yeah.
the yellow ones are removed.
But the bus, it's the transit stops that are at the, the skinny parking lot and right in front of the field there, so people will be crossing. Not just to reach the field, but also to reach the transit stop based on which direction
Yeah. Yeah.
folks are walking or want to go on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the new bus pull out that was installed there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And then there's another bus pull out further to the west, but yeah.
and then, yeah, there's quite dense residential.
Yeah.
back here. And then in the winter, people can cross the slough, so it gets even more dense.
so right now they just have the Antoinette and Danby. crossings.
Yes,
Yeah,
just those, yeah, the intersections there.
definitely scary, and I know we've already had someone come to multiple BPAC meetings in the past to express their concerns about crossing as a pedestrian here because of the timing of the signal. And we did discuss some options. I believe Nathan Stephen was actually here for that conversation. Yeah, I don't know if anything has actually come of that discussion, but there have been concerns expressed about crossing here as a pedestrian. Same at Antoinette, because there are a lot of car accidents, as we all know, at Antoinette. Margaret.
But a rapid flashing beacon wouldn't be near as safe as a regular signal. And if they're having problems with signals, why would you wanna put a rapid flashing beacon? I mean,
Yeah,
I used to live in that neighborhood. I took the bus to school. I remember crossing College Road, which was 35 years ago, but it was, didn't have a bus pull out. But, yeah, I would never walk on down to the signal. It's just too far.
yeah,
So really about the safest place to put it would be right in the middle, go west a little bit, or keep going right there
yeah.
between the two bus stops, because there's too many side roads coming in there to really put it.
And that's the
And
concern
that
of this
thing being close to
intersection.
the intersection.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
yeah,
That's a main walk crossing.
Yeah, see, really crossings, you really want them at an intersection. Well, that's where people expect to see people crossing. Put them anywhere else, it's not normal.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
really
do
could
any
use that.
online
Stretch.
outreach about the one at one of
Yeah.
college? If people's feedback on that,
no, not at the time, but all the
like the
other,
users' feedback, what
Yeah.
they feel like people are using and all that. That's also kind of need to be isn't it?
I wonder, I'll check the DOT's concerns reported map and see if there's anything.
Feel free to jump up and grab a plate of food.
Yeah, grab some food, please. See if I can find this map.
Yeah, you go.
And there are fizzy waters and regular waters in that small fridge. Yeah, actually, the gal that came and provided comment on this, she provided me with a almost 10-slide slideshow of the intersection. And so I can totally send that your way if you're curious, just to.
Well, just putting in a rapid flashing beacon, a yellow light. They just don't seem to be the safest thing to me.
Yeah.
And especially if you got trouble crossing at a real signal.
But
I parked next to that one the other day during the fair. I pulled in there and you know where they got that temporary lot, the watch out was working. And, some cars were slowing down, some were stopping, but you know, you got a situation where you got two lanes, if one car stops and the other car doesn't, the person sees the car stopped. You know,
yeah,
that's how people get killed at Airport Way and Cushman. One person stopped, the other person would go through the intersection.
Goes around them. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
the person isn't supposed to stop, but they did.
Yep.
I believe that Danby intersection though, in the phase 2 of the signal project, they were gonna do something with the timing.
yeah, that's what I thought, that they were gonna be, they thought it was a decent idea, and
It's not pedestrian activated.
it is, but it's less about like the signal itself and more about driver behavior with the signal timing. And so her name's Rebecca, she had proposed like some alternatives. Even just like a leading pedestrian interval could really be beneficial, because as soon as people see an arrow, they just go and they don't really realize that it's also at the time that the pedestrian needs to be crossing, so. it really could be potentially addressed just with some programming.
University Airport, very,
Pardon?
University Airport is very dangerous,
Yeah,
especially on the east side.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on down to the next one. Sounds like there's still some interest there. But needs a closer look at. So the Phillips Field Road path. A portion of this was constructed under a previous improvement program. But there was still a segment. I believe that's not yet been resurfaced. So this would be from the cul-de-sac to Pega Road. Yeah, right there.
So like
From where?
this.
No,
No.
so go down to Johansson to the west, there's a cul-de-sac.
Oh, right, right,
At
right,
Noise Slough.
right, yes.
So the path was repaved from basically University Avenue over across Noise Slough to the connection there with Phillips Field Road. But if you can zoom into Phillips Field, you'll see that
Yeah.
the path is, I think it's like an asphalt sidewalk along
It's-
Phillips Field.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty bad.
So that one, it's separate,
Yep,
do we know if
Right?
it's 7 or 8 feet wide?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I guess 7, but it's this path here, but yeah, I mean,
I write that all the time and I never write that path thing.
Same.
Yeah.
I just ride in the road,
Right on the shoulders.
yeah,
That's what I
And
do.
it's not, the traffic is that heavy then.
yeah.
So that's ours, right, Ron? It's
Yeah.
yours, you have to maintain.
it's pretty smooth when I ride in it,
Excellent.
when I'm in my truck.
That was one of the other things, like, I think this was before your time on the committee, Ron, but we had this particular path wound up getting kind of bumped up in our non-motorized route priority maintenance list because DOT was telling us that they bring the plow all the way down and then turn around in that cul-de-sac and can bring it all the way back. And so this path has potential for getting maintained at a quicker rate. That's what they told us, like, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Oh, it wasn't.
We plow over
Yeah.
Yeah.
with sidewalks. but
Yeah.
not doing sidewalk.
No, they-
So that's also kind of
So,
exciting.
yeah. I would suggest we can keep it, and I'm gonna look if I can add that to the fast AV.
Okay,
Resurface that path,
that would be so amazing.
grinding phase.
Wider,
Wider. Yeah, I gotta figure out.
10 feet.
Yeah. Resurface, widen,
All paths should be 10 feet wide.
overpass, no, I'm kidding. Covered shared use path.
I mean, wouldn't this be a good place for? I mean, the traffic is so low on that road, wouldn't it be, when I used to ride that, I used to ride on the road because it was in path. So,
Phillips Field.
Yeah, I don't really know why the path went in on that side. Visibility traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want
right
it.
in it.
Right.
why, I mean, you know, the elegans or the street sweepers, whatever everybody uses, they would be clearing the shoulder for the bicycle, of course they get snow removal.
I do that quite frequently, and I never go on the sidewalk, and I don't go on the road, there's no traffic.
Well, there is no traffic, it's a dead end road, so I'm saying that's one of the places where you really, you know, the path is good for real slow moving by bicycle or pedestrians, right? Maybe somebody pulling a carriage or something, but on the road, I would never ride that path. There's no reason to, there's no traffic. And plus they get swept by the vehicles and it gets removed, snow gets removed, so to spend money on that path,
Yeah, I agree.
that's where I'm coming from. This is a perfect example of just let the road maintenance equipment deal with the maintenance of the roadway and let the bicycle riders have it because there's no traffic. But that's from my experience riding on it.
Yeah.
No, mine too, it's actually.
So is this project even a need any longer then, if we're,
But I mean, what about other users, you know,
Well,
like
let's just-
strollers, rollerblades,
Yeah.
wheelchairs,
They're slow moving, right?
yeah.
So do you have
Are there
any 10
walkers
feet
there?
wide?
We need to make it at least a,
For what purpose though? It's not a combined use path, right?
I like it to be 10 feet wide so we can run our equipment down it and not tear it up. You build an 8 foot wide.
We're gonna remove the snow in the winter, yeah, I agree, you gotta be 10 foot for a pickup truck.
But it sounds like it'll be a low priority, now look into it, if I can have it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be doing a PDA request this week. So.
All right, let's look at the Danby Road area paths. This is, the best way to look at this is the figure number 9 in the top right from the packet. It'll be better than what we should.
No.
Use.
And then. Fun thing.
So the Danby Road area paths is actually the existing asphalt paths behind the 2 schools there, the middle school and elementary school. I guess Ann Ween and Randy Smith.
Oh, yeah.
So these are the paths that connect the school campus, but also connect to the neighborhood. And a lot of students walk from their home, you know, on the roads in the neighborhood and then get on these paths to get to school. So this is something that was a priority for the school district. But we haven't talked to them about it again in a few years. But as you can see there, the pictures on the left, they are paved, they just have some damage.
What's that? Is that a grate or what is that thing in this second? Picture?
Yeah, it looks like it might be a grate or something.
Does it mean drainage or?
It might be a drain.
No word on that.
And these schools are still open, they haven't been closed.
And
Do the schools typically plow these paths?
They maintain them themselves, yeah.
Is it used for bicyclists or mostly for pedestrians? Do you know?
It's mostly used by students, so yeah, elementary and middle school students. So whether they walk or bike to school, but
did Peter Stern bring this one?
I think Pierre Stern took these pictures,
I think.
but he went out there, and looked at it all, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it used like just by neighborhood students or it's used by the school students to access? Either like walk between the campuses or sports event?
Yep,
It is.
Yep, it is, yeah. But yeah, most of the use is, yeah, by neighborhood kids and then during school hours. So,
And there's two paths going there.
yep, from the neighborhood.
From the,
I mean, they don't get bus service within a half mile or something like that from the school, so. Is that Aurora subdivision?
There's Aurora.
Yeah.
I remember when we did Wembley, the fence and all that,
Yep,
just got a lot of use.
Yep.
There's a lot of movement through this path.
and this is a really cheap project, like this is just,
Yeah, because it's been all of
it's
it.
very simple, mill and pave, it's all over. No utilities to move or anything, so this could still be a good project. We would just need to confirm with the school district, they'd still like to see it happen.
Are you thinking under the fast ADA? Oh, sorry, under the fast.
I'm thinking of the fast improvement program, yeah. But I mean, this could be for 27 or 28, a future year, not next summer. And then the question is who pays the 9% match on this? Because the school district budget's obviously pretty tight. So these questions have to be asked, you know, before it becomes a project.
And we need maintenance agreement.
And we need maintenance agreement, yes,
you said a 9% match?
yes,
Where does that come from?
local sources. So the 9% is our
9%, what's that about?
federal rate, so for, in the state of Alaska, for the federal funds that we receive, we have, the sponsor agency has to pay a 9% match in those funds.
Okay.
So whether that be the cities or the borough or university or DOT, the state match themselves, so. So yeah, there still is participation expected. in all
Is
the
there
projects.
maintenance agreement required?
Yes.
Yeah, there would be.
And that would be from
School district,
School district?
between DOT and the school district. Yeah. So the school board would have to approve the project at the end of the day.
That's worthwhile, because if anything that keeps the kids or other pedestrians off the streets and the sidewalks, to cut through the neighborhood, that's the way to go.
Yep.
I got a question, cause the RIC is trying the pavement. There's no real solution to that, is there? Roots grow up,
The roots.
they just
One thing,
stay on the surface and they just go underneath it, they're all moving.
I would, do what we call a grind and pave. I'd set the grinding depth for about a foot. Grind on down to the roots.
That's good for how many years?
Maybe you wanna inject some Roundup into the ground.
Oh, I have an argument there. It's a shame, but that's the way it is.
Or maybe you could grind down 2 feet. I mean, the roots will come back. I mean, you
Oh,
have
they'll
to
come back, yeah.
put a little measure, put some kind of boundary up, but.
I think really the best way to limit it is to excavate it. And go out wider, take any vegetation on outside that.
Cut it down.
I was thinking about cutting it like twice, like 1 or 2 feet beyond the edge of pavement and excavating that and then just to drain and pave.
Sure.
But that should disrupt the connection of the roots and the lines. I was thinking for parks.
Yeah. You're gonna have to take some big trees out for that one.
Okay, we'll put this one on staff to reach out to the school district to see what their thoughts are on the project still. Let's go to the East Highway path. This is, I guess, ranked number 10 in the packet. There we go. So following on the discussion that Yvette was talking about her termini there. So this committee had envisioned resurfacing the path from the Johansson Expressway down to Trainer Gate. But I believe Yvette's project is south of Trainer Gate.
But that's because I reached out to Jenny and her project is supposed to do all the way to Trainer Gate.
So the Steez Joe project will take care of this path. Okay, so that's a really important note. Okay. When?
When it gets constructed.
I mean, the overpass thing, that project? Okay.
All right, we'll add that note. This farmer path extension is in that same boat.
Okay.
I don't think that extension path is included in that.
So what we understood was there would be, during the Steez Joe construction, there'd be a temporary road.
Yep.
From Johansson, and it would actually follow the alignment of the farmer's loop extension. Is that not what's proposed any longer?
That temporary intersection comes out about halfway, my understanding, halfway between Farmer's Loop and Joe.
Oh, so it's
It kind of
further west from the
curves.
intersection. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that's,
I'll confirm with her because my understanding it was the full length. Okay.
all right, we gotta take a look at that. So the next 2 projects on the list, these are kind of big ones. Really expensive projects. This was the Lathrop Street bicycle facilities and Van Horn Road bicycle facilities. This is adding new sidewalks where sidewalks don't currently exist.
Right.
So this is number 21 so this is in the packets, the next 2 pages, but you got it up there. So there's Lathrop. So this would be a continuous sidewalk from. Oh, is that 23rd Avenue? Davis Road.
Reconstructed with that fast 88.
Looks like Davis Road too.
Yep.
Yep.
To the.
The FMET sidewalk improvements
Expressway.
reconstructed between the. Something along Lathrop, I can't remember.
It may be from Davis down to the Mitchell.
Yeah, because that was my project and it was a really tight right of way. I think we did burrito wraps to fit in the
Yeah.
right of way. A
Yeah.
portion of it is.
I feel like there is a sidewalk there, but then south of the Mitchell, there's not all the way down to the recreation area.
On Lathrop from Davis, it goes on the west side it stops at the entrance to the ball fields. And then it runs all the way down to. What is that, 27th or?
Yeah, it's
The sidewalk.
Existing sidewalk and what on the
Yeah, you can see it there in the,
east side only?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any sidewalk in that area.
No,
It's just on that side,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah.
you go further north, it stops at the ball field. Right there.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was the idea to put sidewalks on both sides or just one side?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good idea with folks walking through and from the Town of Lakes Recreation Area
Yeah.
and the adjacent neighborhoods, but again, this would be a really expensive project. Really expensive. I mean, this would be like a standalone project nomination to our two. This could be 7 million, 10 million, do this whole string, it could be really expensive.
Maintenance room. Later.
City maintains Lathrop, yeah.
Except for where it crosses Airport Way, and that's DOT or Mitchell Expressway, goes right away, but
We actually maintain Lathrop in the winter
you got.
from Mitchell south to Van Horn. Under, it's in the agreement.
Yeah, it's in there.
And this goes down to the Town of Lakes recreation area?
Lathrop
Yes,
Street.
all the way down to the new road, Lathrop Street extension. Yeah.
Paved the Van Horn, but after that, it's not paved anymore, right?
it's a usable part of the way.
Correct.
It's
That's
been out
true.
there for a while.
That, I think.
I don't know if it's usable even, doesn't Lathrop stop before it gets to Town Hall? There used to be
There's
a
some
bench
big
or
work out
something
there, I
there.
mean, there's a lot of new work out there.
It's all
I
newly
haven't been
paved.
out there like that.
Isn't paved all the way past that?
Yeah, it's shocking how much.
Yeah, I took it the other day.
Okay.
It's paved all the way to where it turns to the swing beach and then a little bit along there.
You walked what? Did you say you walked it?
Hmm.
You walked it?
I drove it
Oh.
to the Town of Lakes.
South,
And all of Lathrop is paved. To the Tanana Lake Swing Beach almost, but when it turns, it's paved when it turns.
Wow. All the way down.
I'm sorry,
all the way down to there.
I drove this. This is paved to somewhere around here, and then that's the other project that Jackson was talking about, they wanna pave this section and maybe all the way to here. This is not paved.
Right,
And then this
right.
parking lot is paved and it was expanded,
So now,
but this is, sorry, the Lathrop is paved all the way down. To there, at least there, and it probably continues to there.
Yeah, I think it's cleared on down to where it says town of like.
Probably.
oh, the boat launch?
Well, it's south of Van Horn, they're outside the city limits, so that's all borough stuff. All right. Good.
So then the other, project in conjunction with this is this Van Horn Road. From Pegger all the way over to South Cushman. So yeah, I think it's the very next slide, yeah, that one. Again, also an incredibly expensive project.
Do we know how much right of way we have there? Cause when we were putting a new path on along the Davis Road between Pegger and Lathrop. That was the problem, was the amount of right of way when we tried to attach the roadway.
This is in our memorization thing too.
Yep. And it's really flat.
And there's transit.
Like it's hard to drain water out there.
It expensive.
Yeah, there's transit all in that building. A lot of, yeah, I remember having this conversation, because there's also a lot of services where people like typically will need to like park and take transit or parking, I think bike, whatever, like of like car garages and. Same thing, stuff like that.
Well, I think Windhorn was saved in like 7 or 8, so. I can look how much right of way it's the right of way, that can be, how feasible that would even be. Without right of way.
Yeah, the asphalt's getting to 20 years old.
And with ground.
This would take a few years in design, I mean. I feel like this is gonna be a whole road reconstruction to be able to pull this off.
But if
Yeah,
it was a separated path with borders, that wouldn't be so bad.
I guess my question is, why do we need a bike path in an industrial area?
Sure, yeah, it's just with the park being back there now, it's,
And I understand them going down Lathrop and Cushman
Yeah.
to get to the park down both sides. But why does it need to go around?
I mean, compared to sidewalk, or because she's saying
Compared to
there's
any-
a lot of non-motorized users and transit.
Get rid of.
oh, geez.
I don't, so that's a 3-lane. Right now, and the road is not in great condition,
Right.
so you're right, it would probably need to be rebuilt. You could,
Is that gonna be done nominated with the PM funds, state PM funds? Cause that would be the best time to do it, if, yeah, combine the power.
yeah,
I'll ask Jake Allen if that's on their list at all.
I don't see why that couldn't go to a 2-lane,
We're talking about
Okay.
Van Horn,
yeah,
the route turn lane.
yeah. Skinny it up a little bit, eliminate the.
Like 10th Avenue, you know. You got route the turn lane temporarily for the bike path. The turn lane is a little long.
Right.
Cause both ends of Van Horn are still just 2-lane.
Right. Yeah, and there are bus stops all along it, and it's like purple line is over here, and then this is orange line, and so a lot of people, if orange isn't running, they'll walk down Van Horn to go catch purple. So that's also a consideration.
Look at the accident history on Van Horn, seeing the collisions that are due to the rear end collisions. Or if you got rid of the turning lane, how many you have, vision?
Well, and even with that turn lane, there's dedicated turn pockets in there,
Well, Pearl Street, so.
yeah.
So if something like this were to move forward, I mean, DOT would have to nominate the project for fast planning in our tip, so. DOT's really gotta wanna do this.
Sure.
And DOT might have a different idea of what the scope might be.
We could get the road rebuilt at the same time. Go for it, Yvette.
Yeah,
Go for it.
what the whole thing, I think I should look into that turning lane. If it's long term.
So the next project on the list is the Old Steese Highway Johansson Expressway signs. And as I recall, we know Old Steese will get reconstructed in the coming years, widened. I believe the intent behind this is to point folks to the non-motorized path on the north side of the Johansson.
Can the M&O sign shop manufacture those signs and they could say it wouldn't be federal project?
Or including an old Steve's.
What is that for?
Soon.
What would a sign like this even look like? Well, I
The
thought this
city
was kind
has
of
some
an
really nice ones.
Okay,
The ones I've seen are cars, they're kind of blue and gold line. That kind of points the way to bike
Oh.
paths and stuff.
like those look kind of like a wayfinding thing.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
I think the best would be to send an email to Les Johnson to include it with that old Steve's project.
That'd be the easiest.
I don't know if it's awarded, but even if it was done as a change order, I mean,
Isn't that a
everything
C?
else is.
CMDC contract, yeah.
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 So it should be easy to add. They make stuff up all the time.
Can you guys send a request like that?
Yeah, I work with Russ a lot over.
Yeah, like an example of all that stuff.
He knows it's been in a lot of his projects. So, yeah.
This is for the, which one? Signage?
Yeah, Old Steve's and Johansson Expressway signs.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I remember the BPAC talking about that.
Can you copy me on it?
And then there's also the two hotels that, come into that area from, Merhar, I think.
Yep.
And so it's just with a lot of tourists, I see them walking around that area, like on the Johansson sometimes. And I just must not know that there's a pedestrian crossing or pathway to the other side.
Okay, we already talked briefly about the South Cushman crossing improvements. Oh yeah, so there's this one called Van Horn Road, University Avenue, Tiger Road. Must be a big for that.
I have which one was it?
Okay, so this would be, well, so this is really a Tiger bicycle facility, right? It just did.
To connect them.
Oh, this, okay. 'Cause we talked about, yeah, a path on Van Horn and Lathrop, so this would be another one extending.
Well, so there is a. Now. With that. FMAT's surface, no, FMAT's sidewalk improvements, we built a sidewalk. Between,
Yeah, no, it goes all the way to the Mitchell.
yeah,
So this would just be
But-
just south of the Mitchell. Okay.
but it's only on the west side. Of Mitchell, and I believe when we repaved that road. Does it have shoulders? It does, for shoulders. So we have a sidewalk and shoulders, so that would be shortened from Mitchell to Van Horn. Project. That was the same project that built the base road.
All right, we can adjust that figure.
Yeah.
That would be a smaller, more doable project, but
What's the cost of that, do you think?
it's hard to tell, not knowing what the right of way is or what the condition of the roadway is. And sometimes you get into these projects and it's like, well, to put in this facility, you might as well just rebuild the whole road. Or you might necessitate you rebuild the whole road to maintain drainage.
That one doesn't have ditches, does it?
Yeah, pretty good one on the west side, but I believe that's where the right of way is. Too.
Whole thing.
Okay, then we talked about the Clay Street light facilities and the Farmers Loop extension path. So the next one, I guess, would be the Fifth Avenue ADA improvements out in North Pole. So it's number. This. Number 19, top, yeah.
But that's already scheduled under the process.
This, as far as non-motorized product nominations, I believe this is the next in line for receive funding through our TIP, so. It will be considered to be added by the technical committee and policy board, likely next spring or summer.
Oh, it's a standalone project, not part of the past ADA, gosh.
Yeah, this has
Past.
already been nominated to us and scored by the technical committee. scored really high, but we had other priorities in front of it, so it's one that's just kind of waiting for some funding for. But it'll be grandfathered into the next tip that we develop next spring summit. But yeah, they want to renovate their parking area, then improve the existing paths throughout the park. And I've heard that both the city of North Pole and Borough Parks and Rec are supportive of this. There's some synergy there. Okay, then Parks Highway Path Rehabilitation. Believe that was
I got it.
covered, got number 13 there. So this would be a statewide CNAC nomination, correct? Yep.
It'll still be nice, I think, when I go for LPA.
Yep.
To have a support.
Yep.
project. And I've got the list of the other ones.
So this is a project that would be in the coming months, be nominated to fast planning for funding using statewide CMAQ dollars. So
Yeah.
our technical committee will have to score it. And then we add it to our air quality project table.
Yeah, and it would include. So it's bigger than what was originally nominated. It goes a little bit outside of fast planning because it includes Old Minana because that
Yeah.
striping is completely gone.
And since this is coming from a statewide pot of funding, it wouldn't take away from the sub allocations to fast planning.
Then another one that would be standalone is the Farmers Loop. From Belen to Stees, and that would encompass the Farmers Loop that was in one of these. But not the entire one, just there are some areas that would be like a spot project, we just fix the spots that we fix.
Right. I don't know if we have that figure in here. It's not this project. It's
Okay.
there was one that we had spot repairs at Farmers League. Peter started taking pictures of areas where the new path had failed.
Yeah, I don't know if that's.
There may not be anything in the packet, but
I don't think it was.
Nope. So that would just be segments of the existing path to be resurfaced.
And raised, I think I wanna
And raised.
raise portions of it.
Okay.
And with the next resurface, with the next, when the actual project goes through, I think it's a good idea for us to have the pathway kind of elevated from the adjacent shoulders, so then the gravel doesn't get so to the pathway where you get complaints because it's a little bit higher, so the four-wheelers, well, anyways. And then can I just keep going with the other ones I
Yeah.
got?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hurst Road, Badger to Nelson, the shouldering there, to preserve the pavement. And some spot repairs, and then Birch Hill Road, the road has settled and been filled in, but the pathway hasn't been brought up to grade, so that would just be the solid parts there along the Steez Highway section
Yeah.
where it's needed.
Yep, I've seen that out there.
And the China Spur and Old China Pump. To China Pump, there's it's a green street with the grass striping down the middle. for
Yep.
two-way path.
Yep. Gore striping, yeah. Okay, next one is, I got two more here. Chino Landing Loop Path. I think this is one of the last slides in the packet before we get to the event section. This is number 2 at the top. Yeah, right there. So this is the asphalt path from the footbridge at Pioneer Park up to Chino Landing Loop Road. It's not currently included in the scope of the Chino WRRAC project to repave that. There has been interest over time in putting in pedestrian lighting in addition to repaving the path, but there are some challenges here, the pedestrian, this is on railroad property. And,
What kind of property? What did you call it?
Alaska Railroad owns the property,
River, okay.
and I think it's a trail easement
Yeah.
that the path is on.
Well, it's, the water lines for the Comfort Inn are under that path, basically.
Yeah,
That's
yep.
what that path is for, basically, is the blind and turn.
So who could they get a maintenance agreement?
Well, that's the problem with this project
Yeah.
is that the railroad will not sign a maintenance agreement. They would like to see their property improved and get pedestrian lights, but they won't even pay the Golden Valley bill for the lights. So
About a route infested trail,
it is,
Oh, I-
definitely,
Yes,
that was the horrible, I mean.
so, so anyways, we've kind of come to a dead end with the railroad on this. So the question would be, who would be a logical partner to take over maintenance if it were improved?
you know, that some pressure should be able to put on the railroad because you got the, Best Western there. And I see folks walking from there all the time over to Escalade. I use that quite frequently myself. I'm really disappointed that during the winter, nobody takes care of it.
Yeah.
And what's responsible for that wood bridge over? The metal bridge?
Over the river.
This guy.
I noticed a couple of boards were replaced, and I was amazed how you got them in there.
Well, that was an emergency, we got that done because that was a hazard. You know, so that got done right away, but. Jackson comes back, he might recall more than I do, but I thought this whole thing was tied in with the Chena Riverwalk project somehow.
Potentially,
Potentially,
but not officially yet.
but not officially. I don't know what's official in that project anymore because there's an 8-foot wide easement that isn't wide enough for the trail that goes from the existing bridge to Pedro Road. You know, the railroad said they would provide it, then their land management changed. So, you know, I don't know.
So at one point, if we can construct the Chena River walk that's proposed, which is from the bridge along the river to Pega Road and then north, the thought was that as an alternate route, it would be this pathway along the loop road and then go along that side street out to Pega. But that's all up in the air. So my update's gonna be really short. I would really like you to take it up in August. Cause the only thing I can say is that the railroad hired an appraiser and they're working on the appraised value.
You can send me an email and ask me to remove it from the agenda.
Okay.
And then we're postponing it till September or
Yeah,
October when we have.
Cause
an
it looks
update.
like you're busy anyway in August. But until we get their proposal back, it's in a standstill. We're not working on design of it because I don't wanna spend any more money on it until we know if we can get the right of way or not.
Yep.
It's slowly moving, but it's also not really in the railroad's best interest to give us that portion of the land because, well, we'll see what their appraisal comes back at, but the real estate folks felt that it would lower the value of those lots they're trying to sell for development if there is a public pathway that separates the river from the lots. So, yeah, it's all kind of up in the air.
Yep.
I think this one should be put on the back burner until we know more about Chena River.
Yep. Yep, I agree. Yep. That's a tough one. Okay, the most recent project idea from this committee was, a new path connection on the north side of the Geist Chena Pump Mitchell intersection. We don't have a figure for that, but we could zoom in on Google.
Yeah.
This was recently discussed by the committee as a need, but I think I heard back from, I don't know if it was Yvette or someone else at DOT that there was some concerns with that connection, but
Oh, really?
let's take a new look at it there. And you got kind of maybe fill in some blanks for us.
Just like to, Friday, I think. You can.
So the majority of bad accidents for pets and bikes is caused by turning traffic. A lot of it is right turning traffic. And there, I can't remember, it's a super high percentage of drivers who turn right onto the on-ramp.
Mhm.
So when I asked Pam about, because I redid the sidewalks on the south side and I offered to redo the sidewalks on the north side and add the sidewalk, it's not currently there under the bridge. I was told no, because of the safety concerns of crossing it. That doesn't mean that, you know, there isn't some way that that could be looked at.
But you can see the informal path in the dirt where
Yeah,
folks walk
people
right
use
there
Right.
up to the path that's along the on ramp.
Mhm.
So people are using that, and I guess the idea from this committee was to formalize it, but
So it might be good to
Are they-
reach out to Nathan and see what is the,
Are they crossing the university field?
Yeah, like crossing. here.
No, I mean further to the northeast.
So like
Yeah, you see that trail
up here.
to the left of the, move the cursor, keep going. Then up. to
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Cause I've taken that plenty of times from university to there.
Yeah, people definitely cross that to like
Right.
go to music in the gardens or whatever.
well,
There's a path going through there right down to that intersection,
yeah, I can see it.
right
But-
through there.
Right.
well, that's another thing. Should we see about connecting those two pathways?
Well, I wouldn't do it there, I mean, I would do it down at their intersection, right?
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
you want-
just take it straight up.
No, I mean,
Line up.
connecting this
tunnel?
pathway with this pathway.
Oh, yeah, it's, gets used all the time for the university.
Yeah, I mean, there's this little, you can see here,
Okay,
we could connect them.
so is that along the field, is that paved or is it?
No,
Oh, okay.
it's just a dirt path from,
Okay,
Yeah, but
Never
people
okay.
yeah,
definitely use it.
it's a quick cross,
Mhm.
also. Yeah.
On the gardens.
Bicycle path at the university,
Mhm.
right through there.
But yeah, and now they're. There's a bike shop.
So really the question to Nathan would be if we could, I think, evaluate that on ramp, it would have to be part of the project is to potential intersection improvements where that on ramp is to allow that pedestrian path
Yeah, that's-
constructed.
Yeah, that would have to be all designed in that crossing there for sure.
I think there's even a sign here that says use crosswalk, and every time I'm over here, I'm like, what? Crosswalk? Like, you're standing here pressing the button and there really
You're
isn't.
not supposed to, yeah,
Right, but
you don't stand there, you stand on the other side and you're supposed to use the crosswalk to go to the south side.
right, but there's a sign here that says use
Oh,
crosswalk and there's an arrow. I'm almost positive.
okay.
And then I press it, and I'm like, where, what do you mean? And it's not like I can double back and safely, yeah, it's a funny area.
Well, if this ever gets redone and the ProVac gets adopted, it's gonna be real fun because we'll have to actually block it from pedestrians. Do you see the new ProVac thing? You have to actually put a physical barrier where pets are not supposed to go through, so you'll enjoy those when you're remove snow. But that hasn't been adopted yet.
Well, that's all getting redone next month,
Does it start this now?
but it goes up the ramp.
Thankfully.
If we-
I think that's everybody else make them if we do.
I've got a question, we were talking about the Sheep Creek Road area, thought about it. I was on the phone, I never could get to talk to you. Anyway, would it make any sense on these lanes that are turnoff lanes to put a speed bump in? Does that make any sense? If it slow people down, you know, if there's a crosswalk there that's in the way.
Nope.
You know, is that, you know,
I'm happy to put it in.
No removal guys.
Yeah, that's a problem. Snow removal takes plows up off the ground with snow.
But it sounds like we'll be able to put RRFB there on that Sheep Creek. But it's another new project I would like to consider the committee to nominate. I sent you all the public comments I got for Park Sheep Creek. The department stand during the non-motorized transportation was that the shoulders along Sheep Creek are the it is the non-motorized facility. My concern as a user with kids on the trails is that different users are comfortable at on different facilities, and so for me biking with my kids, that is a gap between the UAF trails and the Park Fire Trail. That's a personal comment.
Those free rides are always dangerous for pedestrians and bicyclists. Have more troubles with those kind of intersections than anything else I think on the streets. Should be controlled, I think, in most of them.
It's really not that different from the right turn on red because drivers don't pay attention to that either.
Did we ever have Travis join us online?
No, I texted him and he said he wasn't gonna be able to make it.
Well, in any event, that's the end of our list of everything this committee has thought about in the past, and new stuff that VDOT's brought up. So, anyways, we're about an hour and a half in, but they need to open the floor for any other thoughts or project ideas.
City last year funded, sidewalk replacement. I think it was 6th Avenue, 6th. The sidewalk on 6th and 7th were pretty bad. That kind of thing. Maybe Olivia, could you do a street view
Yes.
on, 6th Avenue?
Is that the one we're doing?
Thank you.
That project was started.
It is gonna go.
It's official now, yes. FHWA approved it on Friday.
That's good enough for me.
So that's 6 and
Well,
7.
we take a look at it. Well, it's 6th, right next to Barnett over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully there is a street view, I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
So from Barnett to Cowell.
6th there, yeah. Yeah, go down the street just a little bit.
Like here.
Yeah, right there, that'll. Old street. Go down, go to the west.
No.
Maybe, yeah.
I was like, what building?
Go on down that way, son, keep going. The sidewalk's not bad here. But then it starts to get bad right there, starts to get really bad right here.
That's a sidewalk?
Yeah, swing to the left,
Right.
keep going. Yeah. So. There really is no sidewalk.
That's.
And 7th isn't much better, 7th is worse in some places.
Hey,
That's a bit.
hey, which is where I live.
8th is getting redone, well, from Barnett to Cowles is getting redone this summer, it's gonna get paid.
Well, that's because of, isn't that just because of the GSU having a problem?
Well, no, it was actually a combination, the 8th Avenue was part of the service improvement projects that DOT wanted to do, so we combined the
Well,
water, the sewer, the gas, the city storm drain and the DOT project all together. Delivered the whole thing as a package. Complete street, right?
yeah,
But, you know, there is real no sidewalk down here. And
Would
7th is the same way, but we're gonna do it on your,
Okay, what's happening with the utility? Are you just going around them or are you moving?
Yeah, well, where the right of way is, there's enough room to not get into private property, but get between, the back of sidewalk and the pole,
Okay,
just barely.
so the poles will just stay.
Oh, yes.
And something to keep in mind, the project will require 4 foot clearance.
We're not
instead of
approval
3
it yet,
feet.
but
Yeah,
we'll design for it.
yeah, it's gonna make everything more complicated when it's.
Well, we're also-
So this is one project.
Just that.
So this is the 6th and 7th. And I will also review the 10th, between cows and the school, so that will serve as a improved access to the playground, the school playground for the community. The curb ramps were redone when the road was repaved, but the sidewalks were not. And then the other project, which you can go to, is the 9th Avenue east of Lake Grove.
Late check, yeah.
The other direction.
Oh.
Keep going.
So time.
So it's called, so keep going
Yep.
to Lake Grove. Right.
There it is.
Down 9th.
So. This one might be complicated, okay, so you see there is the fire hydrant and we have to do something with. And, yep, and the old style inlets. But Bob is willing to design it. And I think there might be a subsidized housing. There. And those sidewalks were redone in front of it, but the rest of it is pretty sad.
Yeah. That's rough.
A wide street.
Really is. It's a strode.
Okay, let me enlarge this. I mean, the whole downtown area of Fairbanks. Once you get away from the main area, there's no sidewalks, or the sidewalks are 3 foot wide that somebody put in, then they stop and nobody's after that. And I live on 8th at Butterfield, and there's plenty of room for sidewalks there. But are we going to that deal? Are we going to try and get sidewalks in throughout the city?
So what we were doing, we were improving the core from the First Avenue South. And then I had the Northern Region reconnaissance project where we could just go and collect existing conditions. And I had 2 interns and they collected data, and then I created a survey 1 to 3 for like, okay, when you see something that's really bad, we should nominate, you should put that in. So I went and looked around there, and that's how I chose the 9th Avenue because of that subsidized housing. But that's kind of was one of my part of the email to you last week is like, I don't know what are the merits for prioritizations of projects for this committee. Like, when I looked at it for that ADA, it was like, traffic generators, like, are the facilities around the hospital okay, around the, food bank, employment center, we did the 6th, that was adjacent to the Mac Transit, that kind of stuff, and that's. Because there is, like you say, there is so much need, and we have to figure out some way of, have some reasons. So I chose 10th Avenue because it leads to that school.
Right.
And that's the community park, really. So that's how I was doing the projects.
The other question I would have is, if we start putting sidewalks in, what does that do for plowing? Because there may not be room to go past the sidewalk and get both the road and the sidewalk. Well,
I'm not following there.
You either have to stack it on the curb.
yeah, you either stack it on the curb or
Lane width.
Well, generally.
But
you
city
pick it up
removes
right
the
away, so it
snow.
just doesn't matter.
Well, you know, for years, we've had, the idea or the plan to improve the sidewalks from the river south, basically from Barnett over to Noble. And a lot of that's been done, but we can keep moving forward, so, you know, Third and Fourth and Fifth Avenue, Sixth
Right.
Avenue, you know, all this, so now we're moving to Sixth and Seventh. So the snow removal, the code says the residents are supposed to remove snow from the sidewalk, but the city does do it. We actually have equipment to remove snow from the sidewalk,
Right,
and we do some of it, especially in the core area.
right.
And it's just a matter of stacking it and how the movement of snow is done by Public Works. You know, they've got their methods where they'll store snow. Snow storage is a big deal, because it affects the schedule and productivity. So you gotta keep that in mind in design, where they can store it until they can pick it up. And maintenance knows that, so. But, you know, we got a liability, there is a sidewalk improvement plan in the city, because we got liabilities where people trip over these things all the time. And, we don't have a sidewalk, or we don't have a sidewalk that's passable.
Right,
Never mind being ADA, nobody could pass on that.
right. I mean, there's a gal across the street from my wife too. Gal across the street, I rode her about you. He only lives there in the summer, but he's out there walking every day with her. Well, helper and,
We just spent $120,000 repairing spot repairs around town. For every place where sidewalks are bad, I mean, some of them surprisingly bad, we just got that done here
I noticed
a
that
week ago.
Cushman Street Bridge, there was an unlevel and he filled it in. But yeah, well, I know it's a tough call, what to do.
And then the ADA requirements are getting ever more and more stringent.
Right,
I mean, getting to the point where, you can't hardly build anything that meets ADA. But anyway.
well, I-
Moving ahead.
I'll just put one more statement. Take a good look at Cal. That street has been potholed to death and patched and patched and patched and patched. Cal, especially down by Raven Landing and those apartments down there. Then, I mean, you drive down that road, you ought to beat you to death. So,
Just to the
No.
west. Yeah, right there.
Well, it just seems like we just repaved that thing, but I guess.
It seems like.
Sure, I figured.
it's pretty rough.
Really? That's a rough road?
Yes. Well, we have a small car, so we notice it more than,
Oh, there's a real bad section there where, Laura had a leaking small water line.
You got to answer your question, this is it's an old tool that I made. You can see our old logo here, but this was something that we had put together with the committee a while ago just to hone in on a particular space. And the side of the frame is a decent like indicator for things that people can get to by foot or by very short commute. So anyways, you can see like Kellum Street here, we've got 36 medical facilities, 15 schools, 27 train stops. And so then you can like zoom out and whatever. So that definitely contributes to it. Social services, apartments, hotels, etc. Is one of the ways that the BPAC looked at these projects.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I forgot about that map.
I know, it's
I
old.
use that map for every one of these non-motorized project nominations to zoom in to see how they would score. They connected to a school, they connected to a medical facility, yeah.
And then
They
we
have
use
transit
that.
stops in the corridor, so it was a really good data-driven approach.
Traffic generators.
Yep.
Yep.
Receptors, yeah.
Well, this was helpful for me in fine tuning these nominations and, got a lot of really good updates from Yvette and Bob on things that are in the works. So it's nice to see when this committee comes up with a lot of different project ideas. And then in the last 3 years, a lot of them have been built and there's more in the works to be built. They're not all funded, of course. Some are bigger, some are smaller, some are easier to deliver. But, with your input, stuff is hitting the street.
So I am
Improvements
gonna
being
say,
made.
oh, one more thing that I would like to personally see.
Mhm.
And that would be the widening of the Chinari walk path.
On the south side,
No, the existing Chinari walk. It's only like a,
That's the south side, right?
yes, south side, yeah.
oh, south side of the river, yes,
South side of the
north side
river.
of First Avenue, yes.
Yes.
Because in a lot of places, I think it's only like 8 feet. And when I use it, there are bikes, peds, skateboards, roller skiers,
So like,
electric bicycles, and I don't know, I'm hoping we can. So the new way to really, it's got a high volume of non-motorized users. And once you get to a certain volume, you want to look at having the ped only for peds and then only for faster moving, like bikes and personally, I think it would be great benefit to the community and it would increase the use of the pathway if it was wider and potentially even had the separation or not, or just had the width to.
Yeah, I mean, even, you could even, I've seen in other communities, just signage that says like, if you're walking, walk to the side or whatever it is.
Well, yeah,
Something.
there are detectable warning tiles now, they're like elongated, like those yellow, like the bottom ones are at the curb ramps, but there are tiles now that separate the bike path from the ped path. It could just be striped too,
Mhm.
but if we brought that curb and gutter further from the river and widened that, and
Who maintains the river, the borough?
city.
City does along First Avenue, but when it leaves the roadway, the
Right,
borough
then it's borough.
takes over the.
How do you feel about 10 foot wide? paths?
No.
Seems like Ron's really.
16.
16, how do you feel about that?
well, we're talking, First Avenue from the Cushman Bridge on down to the Carlson Center, that particular area. Well, I was never a fan of, asphalt sidewalks anyway. They just don't hold up. I mean,
We
road-
discussed
the
it.
road seems wide enough to me to provide snow storage and capacity and everything else. I wasn't a big fan of putting, dual directional bike lanes on that road. But widening the existing path is something I was saying was a good idea. I think it is a good idea because it makes it so, you're really dedicating an appropriate amount of space, in my opinion, to vehicles and to non-motorized. So it was 10 foot wide, you're only taking 2 feet from the roadway,
16.
we mean 16.
But if we went to 60, we could go to more than 10. If we move all the catch basins, we could really look at that road and see how much no motorized path we could make.
Well, that would be a big discussion then, but I mean, making a 10 foot path on the north side. That's fine, how much do you want?
So the new guidance is for bike and ped path with a high volume, I think it's 14 to 16 is the recommended.
14 to 16,
Because,
never end.
but imagine how awesome that would be, like you are on the path and you never have to like.
But you're
Worry
gonna
how
have
you're gonna get it
electric
up.
bicycles doing 30 miles an hour on that path.
Well, the road is 20 miles an hour, so let's hope they
No,
will
the road
use the road. Is it 30? I thought it's 20.
But
Anyway.
anyway, you make it 16 feet wide, remember what happened to the traffic calming idea, you narrow the road down, people are gonna go slower. Now you got a bicycle path that's 16 feet wide, you're gonna have these bicycles flying down the path.
That's why it would have a separated thing for bikes.
What's separated? With what,
Like it can be striped or it can be,
just a stripe?
or it could be like those detectable warning towers, but it would be dedicated pet space and dedicated bike, and that's what adds up to the 60.
You gotta keep people on one side.
You gotta fit in the trolley too.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Remind your part of downtown.
I do have something I just thought about. And it might not cost a whole lot. Is protection along the pathways under the bridges. So one of the problems we have, is we have chain link fence.
Mhm.
And there are members of the community that cut the fence so they can climb up there and camp out there, do whatever they
Oh, I know what you want.
wanna do there. And every time we fix the fence, within an hour, they cut it again. So we need something more robust. Armor plating, something like that. And I only have one path, but I know the city also
Yeah,
deals
we-
with it on their.
We got a project down by the cabin. We were going to try to close all the access to it under that bridge, because but you can cut through anything. With a battery powered abrasive blade, you sure.
Yeah, I mean, the fencing.
Unless
on
they have some
University.
really nice sturdy wall with some artwork on it.
I'm fine with that. Anything to keep them out of there because,
Are you talking about the university?
no, any steez. The path under the steez.
What are they
Front
doing
yards.
there? What are they doing?
Well, I can tell you, my fence guys, they went to fix it. There's about 10 of them under the bridge, smoking meth. Doing drugs.
Hang out.
Needles, so lots of needles.
Yeah, it's, and my thing is, it's really unsafe for the people on the path.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of money here in the last couple of years cleaning up homeless encampments near GARs on the northeast and the northwest side. We're trying to keep folks out of there, but they just go down under the bridge.
The sharp edged, large riprap isn't working as good.
They just climb on it and get up in the embankment or up on the abutment. Or they'll sit, you know, I think that one has Jersey bears with the fence on top.
Yeah.
Once they cut all the fence off, then they sit there.
It's tough.
It's like it's some kind of a heavy duty welded panel.
I mean,
Most of them can't afford DeWalt tools. But, you're right, if there's a will, there's a way, but. We can't keep throwing money at it, trying to keep fixing it. There's no way for law enforcement to patrol that area. And if they do, it's not enough. They just keep coming back, so.
Just like the curb, mirror we put in under the Pega Road Bridge. Three of them now that have been in there and they're
Yeah.
all disappeared.
Yeah,
They're not cheap.
Right.
At least we didn't build a tunnel.
at least we got our air tag back.
Oh, a good idea.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
Mhm. Weapon shop.
I mean, yeah, and I don't think it'd be that expensive, but yeah. Need an engineer to come up with a solution.
I'm all
If
for
there's any of
anything
those
that
around.
gets chain link fencing now, because we need something else.
I don't think electric fence would be appropriate.
It's for the. I'm kidding. Iron.
But yeah, I agree, it is a safety concern for pedestrians
Mhm.
walking path in a dark area past those activities.
Yeah, you know, we have a hard time keep up on all the brush around the pass and it irritates the heck out of me with having it overgrown along the pathways and. Guys don't like to run shindawas anymore, cutting brush, but they get out there and do it where we can.
Okay, well, we got two new ideas that weren't on our list. It's good.
You got these, right? These will make it in.
Yeah. Anything else?
So very reliable sidewalk equipment.
What can buy?
I've got a holder that's been down for almost a year now
Mhm.
Art from. And repairs. It's been at Craig Taylor since October.
Who makes those things?
Holder, is the company, they're out of Germany,
Oh, German.
but, Archer bought them. They do pressure washers and street sweepers, mostly small scale stuff. They bought Holder.
We're switching to a different company.
Yeah, you have trackless.
Trackless, yeah, MT7.
Not a fan of those after talking to the guys, Anchorage DOT. There's another company that looks promising, Multi-Hog. They're from Ireland. They look to be a lot more user friendly and maintenance friendly.
What's the name again?
Multi-hog on ports. And the nice thing is the books for it are all in English, not German. Yeah.
So next abstract then, just for committee,
Well, I think we need to clean up our list with the notes that we got today. I mean, clearly there's some termini changes, some stuff that's partially been built, but there's still a bigger vision to continue them on. So we'll refresh our list here with notes, and keep tabs on those. So, but there's quite a bit in the works and design. So half dozen projects or so. So we're doing good.
cool.
So I
Yeah,
really do appreciate, yeah, Yvette and Bob being here today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Some of the flags and offer your unsolicited opinions.
fully solicited, they were invited.
Okay, thanks very much.
Well,
You're very
yeah,
welcome.
please fill up a plate and put another plate on top of it if you want.
For 3 more people.
I know. Yeah, do it. Please take some food. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Kim, a few things for you to